Alright, what's happening, people? Welcome back to episode 2 of the Hostile Podcast. The first podcast got like over 1 million views or something crazy like that.
Mate, it's going viral.
It's going viral. Pretty viral. We're back, and as you can see, a lot of us are missing. Well, I say missing. Well, there's 3 of us. Adam, Marco, and Teo could not be with us today because all of them. We're not going to give the reasons.
I think Nathan's with his mum.
Teo's
Teo's
with
who
his mum
Nathan
as
is.
well.
Marco got knocked out in his football match.
Marco got knocked out, and then who's the other? Adam's he can explain when he gets back. I think out of all of those guys, Adam's reason is probably the most valid.
Well, Marco's in hospital.
No, I don't count.
I mean, did you see Koscielny? He didn't go to hospital yesterday, did he?
No, he did. He broke his jaw. Talking about Jesse Lingard moonwalking at the Emirates.
Best thing that's happened in 2019.
Best celebration.
Disrespect.
And as you can see, we've replaced them with 2 mediocre guys. What's your name, mate?
My name is Ashwin.
Yep. And what's your name, mate?
My name is Nathan.
This is Nathan. He's very tired because he went out last night.
Hey.
But he's here. So look at that.
Lads.
So make sure you like for Nathan.
Yeah, like.
Alright, we're back and we're going to chat some more rubbish. And we'll see where this goes.
Hang on a minute.
Tamagotchi.
It's going to show you this egg.
Bro!
Last week there were a lot of conversations about the egg, right? And everyone thinks that the egg became famous now, like it was a viral thing now, but it wasn't. Do you not remember these eggs back in the day?
If you
These
put
alien eggs.
If you put it in the fridge, doesn't it
Bruv,
grow?
it has babies.
said
Do you
the
not
fridge.
remember?
Bruv,
Bruv, you
I
tell me
had
you never
babies.
had one of these alien eggs.
Wait, before you put that in my coffee, let me just.
Why have you got that? What's wrong with you?
How old are you?
'Cause that's where the trend started. Back then.
That's not formed, you
Why are
know.
you taking it out, man? What is that?
Look at that.
No, man.
What are you saying about this guy?
He's pregnant.
Come on, oh, bro, he's about to have a baby.
See,
I swear.
I done told you, man. It's like, oh yeah, he's pregnant.
The
Like,
arm has become attached.
Wait, hold on a sec.
What is this? Why
wait,
where
let me
did you get this?
Wait,
But
okay,
these
fine.
have babies.
So now we're discussing.
Yeah, they have
we're
babies.
discussing this, right? So
Bro, I told you, no one is watching this podcast.
wait, hold on a sec. I'm so bad for this.
So this is like reproductive goo.
Yeah, yes.
So okay,
and in the fridge.
Explain the process to me from start to finish.
So like you gotta wrap it
I
up.
apologise for
You
it.
asked me to come on this.
I apologise.
So you buy how much is it? 99p.
This in
$4.99.
in like local retailers it probably goes for about $1.99.
Okay, so then what you do? You take it and you put it in your fridge.
You put it in the fridge
And
or
then-
freezer.
Yeah.
Rumor has it that if you pair it up with another alien,
You get
it has
babies.
babies. But
Alright.
I'm telling you now,
Then
there's
get another
YouTube
one.
videos about
Fine, then get another one. Get
Alright.
them 2 together this week, and then next week we'll see if they're
this.
babies.
Next week we'll come back.
Say no.
Alright, moving on. It's been a great week in the life of the world. Is that right? Is that how you say it? Life of the world?
Life
Yeah,
of the world.
Yeah.
The life of the world. Yeah? No? And there's been a lot going on. What happened this week? What's happened this week? No, we're not going to talk about that.
No,
I know this is the Hostile Podcast, but I really don't want to talk about that. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
I don't think we should talk about it. So we're going to talk about SpacNation instead.
I don't know why that's funny, but
For those of you who don't know what SpacNation is a church, and they are the guys where they invented gospel drill.
Yeah.
So the hope dealers. So if you've seen these guys with balaclavas on
Bellies and Bibles.
and Bibles,
Subject
those are
to
the
the
hope
power of
dealers.
God.
And interview came out this week where Alhan and Poet from Boiler Room interviewed what's her name?
It's a great
Dealers.
podcast as well.
Yeah, shout out to Poet and Alhan.
Gasworks.
Good podcast. Is it a podcast or is it a show? It's a
It's
great
a
show
show.
on YouTube.
The greatest.
So they interviewed these guys, hope dealers, and it was very interesting. First thing the guy did when he walked in, the guy's name is Bread, by the way.
I'm listening.
He dropped $5,000 on the table.
What? Was
tells you
that his
Yeah, and it was in like a
what do you call
Santander.
it?
Like,
What do they call it? Offering.
Well,
Tithe.
he said in one of his bars that he dropped a rollie in the offering once, and he didn't care.
Fair enough.
Fair play. I
God
don't-
bless him.
Not
God bless the church.
Not really sure. So okay, so what's how do they stand out? Why did they get interviewed?
Because of this, because of all this controversy surrounding this
Right.
church.
Is that
People are
related to
saying-
the genre of music?
No, it's not.
Oh, right.
That's the thing.
Right.
But yeah, go for it.
So like,
if a guy's saying that he's dropping a rollie in, like, to offer it, isn't it just the same as any other rapper just saying, I don't care about this? Like, the money's just money. Like, it's nothing for you.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, whether it's to your church or whatever, it's still the same thing.
Yeah.
He was saying, the guy was saying, we're just trying to get the young guys off the street.
So it's got a good cause attached to it.
Yeah, it's got a good cause attached to it, but at the same time,
So does ISIS.
What was I saying? Something about
They got a good cause, like so.
no, but
they're
is
all
it a
about
good
young
cause
people.
though? Is it a good cause? I feel like they're exploiting young people. They're trying to cover up. I feel like they're covering up what they're actually doing, which is profiting off the church.
No, there's certain parts of the world where some churches are exempt from taxes. How different are they to a certain guy named Dollar in the States that went out and bought a private jet? Like, what's the difference?
You know, by saying his surname, you didn't make it any more like suspect.
Well, no, because for people who watch this, they probably don't know who was it. Creflo Dollar.
Well, Creflo pounds, Creflo yen,
Creflo rupees.
Creflo rupee fan. 50 Cent said his name in the bar.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Do you know the bar?
I can't remember.
It's not my time.
No, but so these guys, right? You're saying they're profiting from like people's.
I think they are.
money.
I think in terms of this hope dealers, these young guys are actually putting the balaclavas on and acting like this is. They're trying to say this is worship music.
Right.
It's not.
Well, you never know. You don't know what their heart is, right?
Listen, I would strongly advise anyone who's listening to this and kind of engaging with our opinions about it. Go check it out for yourself.
Yeah, Google it. There's loads of videos. The BBC did like a part on them as well.
Yeah, find. Yeah, go on. Sorry, go on.
Boiler Room Alhan did a documentary where he followed them for like a couple of weeks.
Right.
And he spoke to the pastor in there as well.
Right.
The pastor just comes across as very arrogant and he clearly loves money.
In that documentary,
yeah,
right?
because you just see outside the church, you see G-Wagons, i8s, Lambos. And the pastor has a Lamborghini with a license plate that says pastor.
Right.
But you got
I've
to do
seen
it.
I've seen it.
Well,
I've seen
your,
it.
Your pastor.
It's
and
different.
There's people in your church who are struggling for money,
Yeah.
but then you're driving a Lamborghini. But then you're asking for me to put money in the offering.
But bro, same could be said about a lot of religious leaders.
Yeah,
I personally think that the same across a lot. Like,
it's across globally. Yeah.
I think this specific example is just easier to see
It's
because they
easier.
flaunt it more.
Because it's more in your face.
It's more in your face, and to be fair, I respect that more because it's out in the open.
At least they're open about it. They're not like hidden.
They do a lot of good for young people. They do get people business skills, give them opportunities they wouldn't have. But it is that like profiting. Like, why does a pastor need boxes and boxes of lubes?
Yeah, because he said I only wear. But if you look in the video, he says I only wear lubes.
Yeah,
like he only wears lubes.
Yeah, well, it's like it's like the Pope. Like
I don't have lubes.
he lives in not the new one. I think the new one is pretty chilled, but over over history, like the Pope is like living nice, like house full of gold, gold taps, all of that. It's
Yeah, but I think that's
The
tradition.
Pope got a Lamborghini, but didn't
I
want
think like living. If you're in that position and your church is doing well, live well. Nobody's saying you shouldn't. It's just that like when that is what all you're showing. That's what
true,
you're showing off.
you're
Like,
right.
Yeah.
because in these documentaries, you're not seeing him saying many things about like. Well, he is saying things about the church, but the main thing you see is
The money.
Yeah. I'm keen to go down there one day and just check it out.
you should.
That's what I'm saying. I think it will inform however we feel about them a little bit more.
Yeah, because all we're seeing is the documentaries and
It's true,
the
which is
reports.
which is always going to be like biased to
Yeah,
whoever's
it's
producing the
something,
documentary.
But it's interesting. I think it's very interesting. SpacNation. Maybe we should give them a chance.
I think
Go check them out.
if it turns out if we go and you turn out it's actually like
Imagine
legit.
we go and then we start going there.
Yeah, but the thing is, you might be, it's legit. Like they're doing great things,
Yeah.
but and then it could just be completely misrepresented.
Yeah, it's true.
Just for a story.
I want a Lamborghini as well, but
What's the church facilities like? Is it nice?
Hilton Hotel.
Here's the Hilton
It's
Hotel.
they do it in 5-star hotels. So I think it originated from Africa. I think is it? Yeah, it originated from Africa. And they brought it
Whereabouts in
to.
Africa? Nigeria.
Apparently, he's John Boyega's second cousin, the pastor.
Yeah.
Oh really?
I don't know,
Who's
yeah.
John Boyega?
The actor.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
I don't know John Boyega.
Attack the Block, Pacific Rim.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's
Star
bare
Wars.
famous.
But it says Grime Daily did a report on them.
4K TV.
So the church got raided by the police.
Oh really?
Yeah, for a rape case.
Oh, I'm done.
Because they accused... Because the pastor lives in a house with like 4 or 5 other guys. And apparently a girl got allegedly raped there. And this was...
Where are they from though? Is this like a Nigerian church?
I don't know if that's making
The
the
plot
cut,
thickens.
You know what? Because you know
I don't know
what?
if that's making the cut, lads.
Do you know what's mad? The other day I was on Forbes, and I was looking at, like richest person in the world and all of that.
Yeah,
and there was like a richest pastors list.
Wow.
There's this one guy from Nigeria, net worth 150 million.
Yeah, you know Nigerians have money though. You know Nigerians have money.
Yeah,
It doesn't say where it's from.
I always just think it's so suspicious when like leaders of organisations have so much relative to everyone else. It's like whether you have the best intentions, you're exploiting someone.
Exactly. Yeah.
At least if at least if your church is looking like nice and there's like nice screens and like nice chairs and like the inside of the auditorium looks
You're
nice.
investing
Okay,
in the
you
church.
know that the money's being spread out.
So this is someone who I asked, tell me everything I need to know about SpacNation, and he goes SpacNation. He said, SpacNation is an amazing search. They don't discriminate. They accept everyone. They're like a big family, and when you're in, they'll put you on and try and help you. They really love God. They really care about people, and when they pray, you really see how they love God. They get money together, but pray together. I'm really connected. Most people don't understand it, but you need to experience it before you judge.
So this girl on Twitter from SpacNation, my friend was telling me, got caught out. So it's like she started a company, took out loans of it, filed it bankrupt, then just kept doing the same. So she was just literally just taking out money from companies, then filing them bankrupt, and then she got caught for doing it. And like this is within that church.
What,
Yeah.
apart from
Part
of
of
this
the
church?
Yeah.
This is alleged. We're just gonna put alleged above it.
Yeah.
This is just
We need to
allegedly.
put
We heard this.
Put those. What do they call them? Exclamation marks? No.
Quotation marks.
There you go.
It's all alleged. This is alleged stuff. We don't know anything. We're just trying to make it.
I just want to go. I think going.
I want to
go.
go. I want to check it out. Like I do want to check.
They
it out.
do like a Friday night service.
No, I think they're Sundays.
Bum that.
Subjective.
I'm not interested.
No, I'm joking. We can like.
We should do a documentary.
Anyone.
Mini doc.
You should legit go and check it out. Right. If you know, I've been looking forward to some things that are coming up this next couple of weeks. So there's a lot of hype around this time of year. Happens every year. About
This time of the year.
yeah, this time of year. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
everyone's broke.
Yeah, no,
everyone's paying off their debts. What you want about, mate?
I've got no money, man.
Yeah, so you got no money, but there are 1.5 billion people in the world, right?
Oh,
1.5.
No. Listen, let me finish the sentence then.
No,
Let me finish the sentence then. There are 1.5 billion people in the world that are currently preparing for the Chinese New Year.
Yeah.
Ooh.
What?
1.5 billion people in the world preparing for the Chinese New Year, and that's just the Oriental countries, Asian countries. Sorry.
I'm leaving that in.
Asian, and then that's discounting the West. So here's some facts. Yeah, it's a 15-day holiday. It's the longest holiday in the world.
Nah, bro. School holidays was 8
No,
weeks.
A lie?
no, it's the longest.
Isn't
Yeah.
It was live as well.
Yeah, school holiday,
Good times.
free. Yeah.
Wait, so you get 15? Is it as in like bank holiday?
Yeah, it's a 15-day public holiday, which
So, like,
which you
Oh,
can get.
public! So that's everyone!
Yeah, everyone.
Wow.
That's live.
So everything is shut.
Bro, let's move there.
There's a couple interesting facts though. It's the largest human migration that takes place within 24 hours in China. Because everyone's traveling to go see their family.
You ain't seen Anfield, man, when it's packed. It's lovely. On a Champions League night, you seen it? Quality. Bare humans in one place.
Bare
Oh! And then when Salah scores, ooh!
Or when Salah dives as well. It's low key kind of nice. Yeah. So the trains are so overcrowded that like most people wear adult diapers for like 24 hours because they can't get to the toilets and things like that on the train. And so this one holiday, the Chinese New Year holds the one day, the day they celebrate it, holds the world record for the number of texts sent on one day. 19 billion. 19 billion texts sent in one day. And this is the maddest thing. We're living in 2019, yeah?
Who you texting?
Yeah, all the man.
Happy New Year! Happy New Year!
Wait. This is the massive. We're living in 2019, but they're living in 4,716.
What do you mean?
What do you
They're
mean?
ahead of the game.
Yeah, in the Chinese
Explain
calendar,
to all.
in the Chinese calendar, it's the year.
Time travel.
That's why they're ahead of the game.
That's what I'm saying.
Aye.
They're time traveling.
That's why they're always bringing out new technology.
Time travel.
4,116. That's the year they're living in right now. It's not 2019 for them, according to their
So
calendar.
you see at school, yeah?
twice.
Did they write that down on 2019?
No, I don't care what they write down. They probably write it down depending on where they're going. Yeah, that's the site I got it off.
So when is it?
5th of Feb.
There's no set date. What do you mean, bro?
No, it changes every year depending on.
yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
lunar festival.
Have you seen Rush Hour?
Yeah.
When they're in the casino and they
Oh,
do
yeah.
with the dragons,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
wavy, bro.
All right. More facts.
More facts.
According to one myth, so obviously it's not a fact now. The Jade Emperor said so obviously this new year is the year of the pig.
Okay.
So they've got 12 animals that they cycle through every year, and the story has it that the pig arrived late because he overslept. That's why it's last in the cycle of the 12 animals. Yeah, so that's that.
That's cool.
What? Oh my days.
Yeah. Or some people say the wolf destroyed the pig's house, like the nursery rhyme. No, the children's story.
Yeah, the one he blew it down.
Oh.
The pig had to rebuild the house before they went to the meeting. But anyway, so obviously it's a 12-year cycle. So there's it's a 12-year cycle. So they are.
Oh, you lot need to. Oh, you see, they're not going to be here next week.
It's a 12-year cycle. So obviously there's been the year of the pig. You're right, mate. So in the previous, I thought I just set the tone for 2019 or 4,116, whatever the year is. Right, in the previous year of the pigs, these following events have occurred. Wembley Stadium, the new Wembley Stadium was completed. All right. The first iPhone was announced the last time it was the year of the pig. Yeah. Gordon Brown was Prime Minister the last time it was the year of the pig. Come on. He loves it. Alright, this is a mad one. The last time, not the last time it was the year of the pig, the time before that, Nigeria was expelled from the Commonwealth.
Oh, shut the hell your mouth.
Oh.
Something.
Yeah,
else.
we're leaving the EU.
Them ones there.
Yeah, and we're leaving the EU.
Let's go.
Brexit.
Oh my gosh! Come on!
I cracked it. Chinese pig fam.
Yeah. Just
There's more.
There is more.
Windows 95 was released.
Yes! Windows 12.
Wait, what?
Yeah, eBay started the last time it was.
What
Wait,
year was this?
why is all this like iconic stuff being? So that means
What
This
does
is
that
the
got to
year-
do with this year?
I don't know.
I
I'm
want
saying
a year.
every time it's a 12-year cycle.
Pigs are wavy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
every time it's the year of the pig, something mad happens.
Surely that's every 12 years then.
Yeah, so the DVD was announced.
Oi, bruv,
then-
bruv. I was watching Face Jacker yesterday, yeah. I didn't realise, how good Face Jacker was.
Face Jack or Phone Jacker?
Phone
Jacker.
Yeah. He's a genius. Anyway, back to your.
Alright, the list is coming to an end. Mario Brothers.
What about?
That was also a year of the pig event.
Wow.
Marry your brothers.
Yeah.
Marry him.
Not marry your brothers. Mario
Brothers.
The way he said it, he said Mario Brothers.
What? No, it's
Mario Bros.
Oh, shut up. Get out of the show.
It's Mario Bros, right?
Go
I'd
away.
say Mario
Super
Bros.
Mario Bros.
Yeah, Mario Bros. Yeah,
Mario
Mario
Bros.
Bros.
I've
Mario
never heard
Brothers.
of Mario Brothers. Hey guys, drop it in the comments whether you think it's bros or brothers.
I mean, I'm sure the guys wrote it down as brothers, but they shortened it to bros because there was no space in the front cover of the CD.
Bro, so we say bros.
Moving on, the seatbelt law became mandatory the last time it was the year of the pig. Alright, Margaret Thatcher becomes Prime Minister, but that's low key anyway. Motorola releases its first public mobile phone, year of the pig, and Microsoft Word. There you go, lads. So if anything, year of the pig, the possibilities are endless.
You know, the first big thing happening?
Brexit.
Podcast.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The year of the pig. The year of the pig.
Yes!
Yes, mate.
Bro, I see this video online. I see this video this week. This lady's in the school, and she goes, "Who loves Fortnite?" These kids, jump up that. We like Fortnite. I love Fortnite.
No.
I was cringing out, bro. One of the kids, like, I love Fortnite. I love Fortnite.
But how are people having like this?
No, but it's actually a problem. No, it's an actual problem because I had a performance for drama, and then we had year 7 students, and I must have said, "Who plays Fortnite?" All of them. Yeah, Fortnite, yeah.
It's brainwashing kids.
Fortnite.
Did you hear about the guy that, like, the kid that like wanted to kill himself?
What?
Fortnite.
Really?
Yeah, it was in the papers like a few months ago.
Seriously?
Fortnite nearly killed my son. That was the headline.
Oh my god.
Like kids are actually addicted. Like
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
no,
dark.
they are. No,
It's
they are.
dark.
Yeah, man. It's getting
If you
crazy.
go through the year 7 playground,
That's what you do.
they'll
to
bang
make
the
it free.
goal in, and then they'll start doing this.
Anyway, I was gonna ask if anyone's gonna celebrate it, but I don't know if we need to.
Well, I think I should
Man,
because
we
now
can-
if it's
should
an
we-
iconic one, then yeah, let's
we
do
can have
something.
Chinatown.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
film a podcast in Chinatown.
Bruv, during Chinese New Year.
Get a little preview. Get a little preview in
They
Chinatown.
get drums and everything, mate. It's
bro.
sick.
Yeah, that's in rush hour when the dragon's coming out. And it's like,
Yeah, but I think this year it might be pigs though.
It says here, one of the facts that you didn't mention is that some desperate singles resort to hiring fake boyfriends and girlfriends to take home.
That's just prostitution.
I think
That's
I
not
think they worded it differently. Yeah, I think it's just
That's just red light district.
yeah.
That's a big thing in Asia, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the whole boyfriend thing. Like, there's things in Japan, yeah, where it's so weird. Women go to these like, it's like they literally sit them in a room, and this man plays a video, and it's like just bare sad emotional stuff. And like women pay to go for like him to like make them cry and like make them in touch with their emotions, and then they have like other services with like boyfriend services just for like to go on a date. Like, this is a proper thing.
That's weird.
Like, it's in Japan and South Korea. It's mad.
But that's like that. But that I'm not surprised because that's like ASMR kind of thing. Like, it's people are doing more and more these having these weird experiences because they're just trying to get more in touch with their emotions.
Yeah. ASMR, they do like role plays.
Yeah.
Bare role plays.
Shut up, man. That's some dumb crap.
No, but it's like but I think it's legit because like the more think about how much screen time we get now. Like we're digital people. Like, our brains are just screens.
It's another level out there as well.
Yeah, and it's another level. Bro, did you not just hear the stats? 16 billion text messages in a day.
19. That's
19
crazy.
billion. But that's weird though, man. Paying for like emotions and feelings.
It's weird. It's proper weird. It's a Vice documentary. You should look at it.
The guy with the blonde hair.
Oh no, that's what I was about to talk about. The new guy. So there's this guy who you stare at.
He just stares.
He just stares at you for like 5 minutes or like 20 minutes or whatever it is. He gets paid bare for it, and then and your problems will get fixed apparently if you just stare at this brother.
I don't think he's out.
What do you mean? You stare at him?
So he comes out, and he just does this.
How gullible are people, though?
Exactly.
No, why are you accepting cookies on my laptop, bro?
Sorry, what does that mean?
What does that mean?
It means you get cookies and milk.
Oh no! I have to clear my cash now.
Yeah, he's a staring guru.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Who apparently just stares at people and cures them of any of their problems instantly. My man's even got his own solid onyx temple in his town.
An onyx temple,
Now,
fam.
having taken a imagine my excitement when I heard he would be blessing London for the first time.
Let's go, fam. Basically, there's a staring guru who can cure you of anything. And
Mate, this is ridiculous.
it's on Vice, so go check it out. I think that's mad, though. How can someone look at you and you're calm?
Bro, people are looking for solutions anywhere.
Anywhere.
man,
People buy into it.
People are so desperate. And do you know what's worse?
It's mad.
You can get rich off anything. This guy, did you not see his house?
Bro, he had a gold
From
He had
onyx.
an onyx
looking.
temple.
The guy's literally just standing
He's
there.
just looking at you.
big.
All he
He's
does
there.
is look at you.
He has nice hair.
Nath, tell us what you do.
A little bit of an
What's your
intro.
job like? Yeah.
So at the moment, I'm doing like.
Actually, let's go from what you studied at. No, because I feel like it's important.
Yeah.
Uni, and then like, what you want to get
So
into.
I went to Durham Uni,
Yeah.
did human geography, mainly did like stuff on politics, development, race, identity, all of that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So then since uni, taking a gap year, been doing internships, various like think tanks, and at the moment I'm in one which works to do like make businesses better for society. So they work with like big corporations. They're a great company called Tomorrow's Company. They work with like people like KPMG, Coca-Cola, like make them up. So they do stuff like mental health, in work, poverty, things like that. And then I've been doing interviews, listening to them, transcribing them, and one thing came up.
So you listen to interviews and then you just transcribe and
Transcribe them, then like analyze them,
Okay.
and all of that.
Yeah.
But there's two things that have come up a lot. So I'll start with the first one because I know he's spoken about this before, and it's just like diversity and like the strategic board level, and just like whether it is something that we need to care about or not. There's a lot of talk when it comes to like diversity around.
Yeah.
You want people in power.
Yeah.
The people in power at the top of these organisations to be reflective of society, so that you minimise the chances of them being like discriminatory.
Yeah.
So like if you have more of a mix,
Yeah.
you're less likely to have like keeping people out on purpose.
Yeah.
But then you have a debate whether that's actually necessary or not.
Right.
So I just wanted to know what you guys thought, because that's come up a lot. And
Yeah.
so like, what do you think about? Do you think it's important to have like diversity in those places?
Yeah, 100%. I think so.
I think so, because they should reflect exactly what you're saying. Like they should reflect society, and a lot of the times is people of certain economic backgrounds, and like different, like it'll always be like middle class kind of people who have grown up and they've kind of like had it all the way through, and like everything has been like nice. Obviously they've had to work for everything that they've been given and everything, like don't take that away from them, but they represent a very small demographic of people. If you're speaking like if you're looking at like people who represent a society, like the people who run these companies, they actually represent a very small demographic, which I don't think is right. And I've had conversations about this before. There's not enough like people, I would even say like African people or like just black people in strategic positions, because there's a perception that black people can't be as strategic and they can't be as they don't possess like the critical thinking capabilities and things like that, which I don't think is right. And I don't think the same opportunity is given to them. What do you think? What have you seen across?
So like from my point of view, I completely agree with both things you said, but then potentially for like slightly different reasons. So like the thing about middle class, that is so true. Like being middle class, like I'll be on. I went to a private school. I got very lucky. Like got put through, got given so many.
I don't think you got lucky. I think your parents just
they worked. Because they came. They came here from Jamaica with like my dad turned up with £100. My mum turned up with nothing. And
that's pure just hard work. Big up your mum and dad, by the way.
Yeah.
If they're watching this, I love your mum and dad.
But then when you get to these places, like if I go into these positions, right, even though this is where I have the issue, because even though I'm black, you can think, I'm going to have a different thing. I've been raised in the same places that these other people have. I've gone to the same type of schools, same type of unis. I do have slightly different perspectives, because like my interests are different. But I'm still the middle class person. And I completely agree. Like certain people just don't get a chance.
It's true.
No, 100% I agree, because even like if you talk, like even if you take your situation, your parents, right? Like okay, like they worked super hard to get you to this position here, but they at some point they had to. I don't know what your parents' education is like or anything like that, but it's probably not. Is it degree level?
Yeah, but it was in the West Indies.
It was in the West Indies. But what about their parents?
None.
But this is what I mean. So like if you bring that into like because black people haven't had the same freedom as white people, for example, over the last say. Even if you talk about 100 years, we don't even have to go back that many years. If you talk about 100 years, because of slavery and because like the domino effect and the detrimental, just because of the domino effect of the slave trade and then like the segregation laws and then just everything else that came, that still has a massive domino effect today. So only now people are starting to break the trends, and you're starting to get like second generational graduates in African American or African in African households or third gen. Only now this is happening, but still the people who are in those executive strategic positions with influence and power and with influence over big companies like KPMG and Coca-Cola and all that, their mindset is still and their perception of like black people, for example, is still the same perception that it was like 50 years ago, that they're not educated enough and that they're not punctual and that they're not reliable and the mindset is still there.
It's not. I agree, man.
And a lot of it now is perception management, and it's, for example, like you could walk into a room and I'm black, I'll turn up and I'm late, and there's all white people. They'll immediately notice that I'm black and I'm late, and they'll put that two and two together. A white person shows up and they're late. It's cool.
It's just Steve being
late. Yeah, it's just Steve being late. But if it's like a black guy that turns up late, it's like, oh yeah, black time.
Yeah, it's true.
No, I agree with you on that. Like, I agree with you on like the perception thing, because I read this interesting thing. Basically, this I think it was Oxford. I'm not completely sure, but Oxford University, they did the study. They had these CVs. Literally put like different sets of names on the same CVs, and like the response rate for those with like non-British names was so much lower. Like you had to send like twice or 3 times the amount of applications to get like a positive response. But then so I have that, I'm like, that is a thing. But then on the other side, I'm like, when you're saying like not getting the same opportunities, African kids in this country do way better than Caribbean kids. Because most African, and this is like, because when most Caribbeans came, they were put in the poorest areas, worst schools, and obviously there's loads of other reasons why, like personal responsibility, blah blah blah. But Africans, they came late. They've come a lot later. Same like and it's just a completely different experience. I think it's with unis. It's Oxford or Cambridge. I can't remember which one. It's like Africans is like 1. They're like 2%.
Right.
There, Caribbean is like 0.2.
Wow. But again, that's the opportunity that's been stripped away from a group of people, and now that it's been given, and everyone's like, oh no, it's equal rights, it's equal for everyone. Well, it's not equal, and I don't think it's going to be equal for a lot of years, at least 100 years, 200 years maybe. That's when it will be equal, because like take Caribbean people, they were all placed in like really deprived areas. I know that in the mid 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, really deprived areas. And like, you don't grow as a community, as a society when you get put in poverty. You grow when you get given, because that's still not equal opportunities. Someone living in a hard beat up area is like of London.
It's like crabs trying to fight over a bucket.
It's not the same as someone living in a nice area in Surrey. It's just not the same. You're not going to get the same opportunities. No. You're going to have more crime. Like you're going to have less jobs available. All of this, like it's not the same.
I was going to ask you a question. Do you have a trend or like what can you foresee happening? Is there like a?
I think.
Do you know what I mean?
So the thing I've learned from working with this company, especially, is like the main thing is that what Helder just said. People think it's all fine, and when that happens, you get complacent. And then when something comes out, like this person, like an issue around race, gender, even class, because one thing that gets just a little add-on. One thing that gets forgotten is white working class kids in this whole thing, because they're living in the same area up north. Like a friend at uni, she went to a school in Sunderland, literally like her roof half falling down, like didn't have teachers for some subjects. It's dark, like if you're not born in the right area. But it's the complacency, like we say these things are fine, and then some people make not too much of a thing about it, but they're too aggressive in the way they do it. And then some people say it doesn't exist, and because we live in a society, it's just extremes. So like no one talks in the middle. Like you've got to look at it and go, right, it's not all terrible. Like for example, not all white people are racist, because not everyone has prejudice in any way. But like people that say all white people are racist are the cause of everything. It's just not true. But then when you say, oh, but there's no issue at all, you've got to meet in the middle. And it's not just white, it's everyone. Like,
it's everyone,
everybody needs to deal with. And it's conversations like this that actually get...
I think you've nailed it. I think he's just like nailed that. Because I think people always argue, it's white people, it's black people not being this level. Is that middle ground that people need to speak at? But I don't know. Twitter's like ruining it.
That's the thing.
Twitter's honestly, man, like people's opinions are being broadcasted on Twitter. I'm being like, I agree with that. I don't agree with you. I'm gonna fight back. I'm gonna comment and start a war.
Like, I couldn't agree more with that. Like, think. How quickly do you respond to a tweet that you see? Or like, how quickly do you get angry? It's literally like a second.
You see something and you're like, flip, that's triggered me.
And the thing is, it could come up 2 days later that it wasn't actually the case. But you don't care. You don't ask questions. Like, no one asks questions. You just get angry.
And it's literally shoot first and ask questions later. Respond first, and don't worry if you've killed that person emotionally. And then you're just like, so, like it's easier to say sorry than to think about what you're gonna say. I heard about this conversation between these two people, and it was a white American, blonde woman, and she was saying, and with a black guy, and she was saying that she was bullied at high school, and life is just as hard for a white American blonde woman because the reputation that they come with, that they're ditzy and like they're like not
because she's blonde.
Yeah, and they're not. They can't be like strategic and problem solvers and things like that. And it's saying it's exactly the same as like someone being black. And I was like, well, it's a bit unfair for you to say it's exactly the same because of the economic standing and what's available to you has not necessarily been available to this other black person. And just upbringing wise, like it's just not been the same. And it's not so much about people's perceptions, but ultimately if you go through the stats, if you look through C-suites, if you look through like offices, if you go through the corporate environment, it's mostly like white, blonde hair, blue eyes, or white middle class. It is that. And then it became a bit of like, I could see it, like the tension breaking out, and because this person's like, oh no, like people live with a victim, like black people will live with a victim mentality, which is true to a certain extent.
I think it is true.
Which is true. For some people it's true. Yeah, they use it as a crutch and they're like, nah, like, not gonna get a job because like the government hates us. It's like, no. The truth of the matter is the opportunities are now becoming more and more available. Yeah, and you can work, and it's just the fact you just have to work harder.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. I think I just realised from quite a young age, I was like, I just have to work a little bit harder than the next person. I just have to put in that extra graft to get noticed or to be appreciated for what I do or whatever, to get those jobs. I think you just have to put in a little bit more effort, which I don't think is a bad thing, because I think you get into a mentality of like, if I work hard, I can really kick into this. So I think it's not a bad thing, but also there is that element of this is really unfair because that guy does not deserve this. I clearly do, but because maybe it's race or class or whatever, I'm not getting an opportunity.
It's all. You can. The thing is, like, especially with a situation like that, when people talk about like, oh, because I've got these things, it makes it a lot harder. Because I've got these things, like, just you got to talk. That does matter. Like when you look at the stats, it does matter. But like, people get lost. Like when it's individuals. The thing I was saying about myself, like just because somebody could see me walking down the street and be like, oh, he must be had it hard. I've literally had someone. I had a conversation. It was with somebody at uni. It was their birthday, and one of their home friends, they're from Oxford, like really well off, blah blah blah, and they're like, oh, like, where'd you grow up? I said, Croydon. You must have had it so hard. You must this. I'm just like, without asking.
I'm just gonna. Croydon has two sectors. We'll say two sections, right? Yeah. One is like the deprived area where me and yourself live. Then there's a nice area. Then there's a nice area like Sanderstead, these areas. This is where this guy lives. Now, he hasn't had it hard. But your parents have worked hard to get you to that position. Right?
It was just the assumption that I've had.
The assumption is
it's just
off that Croydon area thing. At school, so my friend moved from South Africa to school like last year. 2 years ago. So when we're doing GCSEs, and so obviously you got target grades, right? And they judged the target grades off where you live, and because he lived from Croydon and he was from South America, they gave him like level 3 target grade, which is like
under
a D, a D. And then so like, but it was also of like, he was not trying to say he's a victim. From that, he worked harder because he's bare smart. And then what he got in his mocks was like 9s, which is like A-star.
Yeah. Wow.
That's the thing. Yeah. But then imagine how many kids they'll do that to you.
Yeah.
And then the kid, because I'm assuming he'll have parents that push him.
Yeah.
He'll have like a family that pushes him. Whereas if a kid doesn't and they get set at like level 3,
they just that's it.
That's it. That's like a spirit breaker. Like it breaks you like emotionally. Like not everyone is that thick skinned to just handle it.
If you don't get the if you're not getting the confidence at school, if you don't have it at home, where are you gonna get it, man? Like they're kids. Like,
Yeah, I think conversations like this are great because they help give people perspective that the issue's not resolved, and I think it's important that like people fight, but they fight in the right way to make it an even playing field. Because although I guess there's no law against like certain groups going to certain universities anymore, the stigma's still there and the opportunities still aren't the same. But now I guess it's still it's becoming like a fairer playing field, like as in by law, but because of like what's happened in history, the domino effect that has into now still into like I was working it out the other day. If in America, in the 50s and 60s, they still had segregation. Like my mum was born in the 60s, so like that's not even. If I was growing up in America in somewhere like Georgia or Atlanta or somewhere like that, like where a lot of those black communities were pushed out to, like I'm like third generation. It's highly unlikely. Actually, my grandparents wouldn't have been allowed to go to university, and neither of my mum, because she was born in the 60s, and her life would have been at risk from the 60s all the way up until like the 80s or even early 90s.
Yeah, early 90s.
So, and I was born in the early 90s, so like I would still be subject of that matter. It's
a complex one.
Yeah, it's a complex one. It's important that people fight for an equal play, a fair ground.
Yeah.
And just people don't become ignorant.
I really think people like to go back to your question. So it's like I really think people are like more and more, especially our generation. Like it's a completely different approach to things. Like nobody would have had these conversations 20 years ago.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
But yeah, there's always a long way to go. But it's just that we have come a long way.
Yeah.
Like, everyone says it's all terrible, but we have like.
Yeah, I think there's definitely progress.
Yeah.
I think it's heading towards the right direction. But again, I think it's more people starting to realise that it's actually not about the extremes, it's about the middle ground, having conversations about it and not being stupid about it and not being, I don't know, militant about it.
There's some extreme ways in like South Africa and Zimbabwe where it's the other way around, where white people are being like severely prosecuted. And I don't think that's right. I don't think you can fix two wrongs with two. You can fix a wrong with another wrong. You know? I can't remember the saying.
It's
two wrongs don't make a right. I don't think that's right, because like now, even like I know a guy that I work with. He was basically just told by the CEO, you will never progress here because you're a white middle-aged man, and you will never progress in this company. And this was in South Africa.
That's the thing. It can go either way.
It can go either way.
It doesn't matter. Like, and I know like this isn't. I don't think it's not a controversial view, but like. The hatred that you see on like Twitter for somebody who's straight, white and male, if you say anything, like even ask a question, you're finished.
It's brutal.
By the way, this podcast isn't strictly for brown, black, or colour.
No, it's not.
There is going to be a white personality next week. This is how it's just arranged. Because the people that said yes were us.
It's true.
But we are going to have, we're not racist, because someone sent me a DM going, really? Is this like a brown podcast?
To be honest.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Like, brown topics only.
But isn't it funny that even that is a thing in people's minds? Like straight away people see colour.
Straight away,
they don't see content, they see colour.
Yeah, why is there not any white people?
Because they're not. They're not saying what are people saying, like you said, like they're not saying, I want somebody who said this view. They just want to see it. Like they can sit there in silence and they'd be happy.
Yeah. As long as he's there.
No, but you can go, why didn't he say anything?
Why did he say anything? What, like Taylor last week? Oh, what's your topic, mate?
That's right, yeah. So
that's lovely merch, by the way. Whose merch is that?
This week's sponsor, Jacob White's.
Oh yeah, Jacob
merch.
White.
Jacob, get yourself some. I
don't know the website, but we can link it, right?
Yeah, we can link
if you
it.
Want to go and link.
Comment below. I'm sure he could do with a lot of our promos.
Yeah, he needs
Jacob White,
because we do better on YouTube than him.
Mate, yeah.
Go check out his channel. He doesn't do as well.
He catches
as
people.
But anyway, speaking of catches people, is the thing that I've actually
catching pedophiles.
No, it's my theme.
Nonsense.
So check this out.
I watch those videos all the time.
Mate, they're sick.
I love catching.
And the cheese ones as well.
Have you seen which one? No, I watch real catching pedophiles.
Yeah,
catch a predator.
Oh right.
No,
about nonsense.
Bro, let me.
No, because I swear that's the one where they catch a paedophile. To catch a predator.
What?
To catch a predator.
You're trying to get this.
Because there was a
It's filmed like properly like this on someone's Facebook Live.
Yeah, it's been a long one.
Why are you asking a 30-year-old girl?
Oh, these ones.
Send them to you. And delete the chat so your mum doesn't see it.
No, I didn't do
Because
This is mad.
Bro, it's crazy.
Wait. We can transition into this. I got a segment in here that talks about that.
Alright, go for it.
Yeah, so now this week, I heard about this documentary that's coming out about Michael Jackson called Leaving Neverland. Don't know if you guys heard about
apparently
this.
It's mad.
What's the R. Kelly documentary?
Apparently it's so messed up.
It's a mad thing, yeah. Basically, these two guys, yeah, have come out and told TMZ that like Michael Jackson has been like sexually abusing them for years and years and years. And this guy decided to film a documentary with them, like directed it. He's done a whole bunch of things, this director, but like he decided to film a documentary, 4-hour-long documentary that's going to be aired on HBO.
That's probably as long as this podcast.
It's about but it's about these two guys. But check, this is the mad thing, yeah. So these guys, yeah, they grew up with Michael Jackson in like Neverland apparently, and he helped them get up to fame, and he helped them like get up.
What's Neverland?
Michael Jackson's.
This guy's very young. He doesn't.
Michael Jackson's house with the
so Michael Jackson's house was built
right.
like it was like Disneyland, but he called it Neverland. This was in California. But there's a guy called Wade Robinson, another guy called James Safechucks or something. But like one guy is like some choreographer that he used to be like really famous back in the day, and when he was under Michael Jackson's wing, because like Michael Jackson will like sponsor them and like pay their families and all of that. And you know when like all the drama was going on about Michael Jackson being a paedophile and all of that, yeah. He was taken to court, and like lots of people were like, you know, taken to court, and there was like lots of different victim accounts and all of that. But these two, they were victims, and they stood in trial and they denied, and they said that Michael Jackson had never touched them, had never done anything inappropriate.
Under oath.
Under oath, they said that like Michael Jackson had never done anything to them, and now all of a sudden, 2 years later, 2 years ago, there's just all this talk about how like now like we want.
So now this documentary's airing.
Yeah, it's apparently what these guys have kept secret for all these years. But my thing is like,
you know what it is? It's the year of the pig. I'm telling you.
No, but my thing is these guys like,
the pig's coming
for you. I'm telling you.
The pig is coming for you.
Do you know what's crazy? It's what we're talking about. People do anything.
You just snort? That was it. You think? To be honest, I'm weird. I'm a weird guy.
What's that?
Snort. You'd snort.
No, but like it's what we're talking about.
Snorting.
People do anything for fame these days. Like what we're talking about.
But it's cash though.
Like this church that we're seeing. Like what they call it?
SpacNation.
Yeah, SpacNation.
Big up SpacNation. Yeah. We're gonna come on Sunday.
Like people do anything for fame. Like so, it turns out that this guy, one of the guys, is like a failing choreographer. Yeah, like he hasn't got a job in choreography for years. He used to do Britney Spears and NSYNC and all of that. And the other guy was like an 80s child actor, and he hasn't had a job in like
since he was a kid.
Since he was a kid, exactly. So like everyone is like, it's just a publicity stunt. They're just trying to make money out of it. Yeah. What do you guys think? What do you think?
Well, I think it's first of all, it's unfair and a legend.
Yeah.
I think Michael Jackson is probably the greatest of all time. He's a GOAT. Would you agree or not?
What do you reckon?
Do you think?
Are you reading up about it?
Yeah. I mean, I've heard some stuff back in the day.
Yeah, we've all heard
stuff.
No. Like stuff.
What? As in, like, you know Michael Jackson? You've been there?
No. Like how.
Like mad stuff that you.
Mad stuff.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
how some of it was actually related to his label.
Really?
Yeah, and that if he didn't do certain things, he wouldn't be a part of that thing. And the reason why I'm calling it a thing, because I don't know the fact about what that was, but a lot of child abuse, if I can freely call it that, was the demands of the contract that he signed.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I wouldn't surprise me.
I mean, there was
because back then, do you remember the B2K?
Yeah,
Mario and stuff.
There was a spiritual element to it as well, which is why I'm looking at everyone like this.
Hang on.
As in, like, it's for the gods.
I'm lost, you know.
I don't know who it's for, but
we went here.
It's the Illuminati, man.
Yeah.
The Illuminati, they're back.
I'm trying to frame it as like safely as possible because I don't know how else to describe it without trying to sound really fraudulent. But no, low key, like.
But R. Kelly, can I just say, R. Kelly is a sicko. He's not. That's not nothing to do.
But bro, that's not. He's not. But. No, that would have surprised me. How many child abuse cases have you heard, in that era, in that industry, in just entertainment in general, not just music, man. Entertainment.
had to sign a contract.
It's
No, don't hold me up to it.
Yeah.
But
But if you
I'm
don't
just
do
saying,
this, we're not going to push your record.
yeah, there was elements of, and it's like I'm reading this, and it's saying like,
Doing child abuse.
and it's saying like, he attempted to anally penetrate a 14-year-old, and the act became too painful, and Jackson relented, as in he carried on, like it's.
But bro, you know this thing, yeah. So this documentary,
It's
apparently,
dark with the frick.
this documentary apparently is supposed to be like really like explicit.
Yeah,
So they
no,
have
I saw
counselors inside the theater to speak to people. Like there was this lady that tweeted this, yeah, that after watching it, because some people have already watched part 1 of the premiere.
Right.
She tweeted this: "I feel sick to my stomach after watching part 1 of Leaving Neverland documentary. Michael Jackson witnessed sex abuse victims coming off very. So the sex abuse victims are coming off very credible. It's so sexually explicit that counselors are in the lobby."
No, I heard about that. Yeah.
So they actually show. Apparently, they've got real life footage of like things that Michael Jackson was doing with his kids.
Yeah. No,
Hey!
like it's like. Again, I haven't seen any of this, but I'm just saying that there was so much attached to this, and it was very much involved. With
I don't want to watch this because he's a legend.
But do you think you could still listen to his music if it came out if every like accusation
if it was absolutely factual.
Okay, you say that. R. Kelly stuff, factual. All that's come out recently about documentary and stuff, factual. He's a weirdo. He's an abuser.
Yeah, but everyone always knew.
No, but it wasn't fully justified.
It wasn't, yeah.
Now I can't listen to his music.
Yeah.
I can't listen to Ignition anymore. Why?
Yeah,
Why
come on. He's probably talking about like.
I used to bang on Ignition and Wild Out.
But everyone knew this from when he was dating Aaliyah. She was like underage.
She was
when he
underage.
dating
They
her.
got married when she was 15.
Yeah, but that's not normal.
He's
Everyone
way
knows that's
more.
not normal.
R. Kelly's not normal.
Yeah.
But MJ is he's the king of pop.
What I'm saying is if
Bro, I don't know, man.
because like
Yeah.
if it is somebody that has been like such a big part of so many people's lives,
Yeah.
like do you think you can like balance it?
Yeah.
As in like go like this is despicable but it's
Yeah.
music, or do you think it's just
it's
just done? It's a tough one. I don't know.
a tough one.
I don't know.
My thing is like, okay, maybe he did these horrible things to these kids and stuff. I'm still a bit like, why are they just coming out with this now? Why didn't they come out of this like so many years ago? Because it's this fact that the families were feeding off Michael Jackson financially. They were living, so like Michael Jackson was paying these families.
Maybe it's dried up though. Maybe it's
Yeah,
dried
and
up.
maybe
now,
it's
so
dried
now
up,
they're looking
but
for it.
that's not okay. So now they come out and they say like, this is my problem with it. Like, okay, like yes, he's a paedophile. That's not okay, and like whatever should happen, like they should get given all the compensation money in the world. But like my problem with this is that like they've kept this for so many years, and it's not been an issue. And why is it an issue now?
Yeah.
Why is it an issue now?
What I'm saying, yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying and how it's kind of surfacing. I feel like there wouldn't be smoke if there wasn't fire.
Yeah, 100%.
But it's like if they do have actual footage and it's being aired on a like a rated R kind of way, and we end up watching it, and if it's real, like it's real. There's not a lot.
Yeah.
People can, and this guy, what's his name? Something Robson, Wade Robson.
Yeah.
The guy that used to perform a lot with Michael Jackson as a kid, and he was receiving all this abuse. Like, he's a real guy with. I mean, until I see, I won't know. But with real information, with real evidence.
Yeah, and
It's not just you can't Photoshop this stuff, man. Like I'm telling you, you can't.
No,
you can't. You can try, but you can't
100%,
Photoshop this stuff.
100%. I just don't think it's cool. Like, I don't think it sets a good example as well. To if anything, it should inspire kids, if anyone's out there, going through this kind of stuff, to just come out and just say it straight away and just deal with it. Like, don't let it boil under the surface, because then you got the whole issue of like, is it legit? Is it credible? Is it not credible? Now there's people like protesting, saying it's not real, it's fake, and all of that. If this was happening, no matter how much money like I'm being paid, if this is my kid, I'm going to the law, and I don't care. I'd rather be broke.
Yeah.
Like, is money that really important to you that you sacrifice your kids?
Yeah.
You sacrifice like your dignity just for a bit of fame and money.
Bro, you'd be surprised what these Americans get up to, man. Because the R. Kelly thing was very similar.
Yeah.
Like, he paid off families so that the kid can be
abused,
quote unquote sex slave. Yeah, R. Kelly's sex slave.
Well, they've the Michael Jackson estate have released a statement.
Oh, really?
Yeah, saying that it's like
not true.
Yeah, they're saying it's just like this blown up thing that Michael Jackson had to deal with his whole life, and even now after he's dead. So they say Leaving Neverland isn't a documentary. It's a kind of tabloid character assassination Michael Jackson.
Which could be true, because all of this is alleged rumours right now.
Yeah.
The director's a BAFTA award winner, man.
I know, but bruv, you can
He's
hire
legit,
anyone
man.
to direct your
He's
videos
legit.
these days.
You know, he directed a paedophile hunters video.
Seriously?
Like, yeah, he won a
Yeah, he
BAFTA
does.
for his paedophile predator catches or whatever.
I need to watch more documentaries.
See, this is-
Mate, that's
I
brilliant.
watch so many documentaries.
AFC Wimbledon 3, West Ham 2, they're back in the game, mate.
But no, it's happened in football, like...
Loads of cases have come out, especially
man.
last year, there was loads of cases.
Maybe it's got something to do with what Cephas is saying, you know?
What,
like,
the year of the pig?
No, maybe someone... maybe they're being forced into this by secret forces.
Yeah.
Secret organisations.
I don't know facts, but I'm sure like there you know what, there was a season where there was a series of documentaries released in the early 2000s about like the music industry and how
Oh
it's,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
do
yeah. Do you remember? Like YouTube videos about everything.
Yeah, YouTube is how they're part of the unfinished pyramid and blah
Trust
blah
me.
blah. And I'm there thinking,
And like how they play music videos backwards.
yeah,
and they
but
play
like,
songs backwards
yeah,
and it'll be like
yeah.
6 devil.
Talking about Michael Jackson, do you remember the Michael Jackson shadow? Because like, you see when he died, and then they went to his house, and then like, they were like, oh, there's a shadow.
Bro.
And everyone's like, whoa!
What was it like?
No, like, it was just, no!
Did you see that?
Bro, it was like Jesse last night.
Yeah, trust me. Bro. Oh, that's mad. He's probably going to get a lot of heat for that, Jesse Lingard.
Oh, he's timed it really badly. I hope he gets a bit of smoke.
I did not put that together. That's right.
We're talking about
Mad.
Jesse Lingard.
Maybe that's why he did it.
Yo, Jay Lings, shout out.
Oh,
Jay Lings.
bro.
Oh, you gotta respect him. He was sick today on Soccer AM.
Yeah.
Keeper saved his penalty, which meant the AFC Wimbledon fans didn't get 500 quid.
Right.
So after the show, he gave them all 600 quid out of his own pocket.
Who, Lingard?
Yeah,
Nah,
legend.
he's a G, man.
He's a
See, I
legend.
told you, you hated him.
Well, I still hate him.
Nah, you don't.
I still hate him.
He's low-key
He's
a
a
weird
guy,
don,
a little
though.
rat, mate.
Low-key is a weird don.
What do you
Bro,
mean?
he's 26
Did you not see that
years
video?
old, mate.
Did
He's
you
big
not see
age.
that video?
He's still moonwalking.
Yeah.
No, man.
So what? Now that's wavy. Have you seen the video? Probably Frank the Gunlin as well.
Somebody told me a mad thing. Christian Eriksen is the same age as him.
Yeah.
Oh!
Ericsson
Christian
looks
Eriksen
like
is not
he's-
26.
Yeah, he's got 4 kids. He's married. He's got a nice. Lingard looks like a child, bro.
Let him do his thing,
But
man. He's a
Eriksen
young
looks like
guy.
he's 40, man.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
His hairline's sitting back here.
Eriksen's.
Eriksen's moving mad.
Love that guy, though. He's a great player. Man.
He can hit top bins, but freaking heck. Look your age, man.
Oh, speaking of also Michael Jackson dance moves, do you remember that? There was this thing on YouTube, like some weird YouTube video. They were saying that like Michael Jackson's dance moves are like spiritual ritual dances, and basically this guy, apparently this guy went to hell.
I can do this.
No, check this out. No, check this out. No, that's not even the worst thing. That's not even the worst thing. So my guy. What?
I'm done.
Oh no, check this out. Apparently this guy died, went to hell.
Shout out Star Trek.
Oh no, the triangle! The dab, that's in the night.
I see the shoot.
Yeah, the shoot. No, bro, this guy, this is the maddest thing. This guy died,
Don't worry.
went to hell, and he was in a coma, and he went to hell when he was in a coma.
No.
And he saw these demons, and it all moved in like moonwalk. The demons moved in moonwalk.
So you're telling me Michael Jackson is a demon?
Lingard is a demon.
But he
I can't.
I'm dead.
The Emirates the Emirates, bro. If Jesse Lingard is a demon and he moonwalks in the Emirates,
Emirates is hell.
the Emirates
The Emirates
is hell then.
Nah, bro.
Go
At
to
least
the
hell
Emirates.
is loud.
Wow.
Hell's loud.
Oh my.
Hell's silent, man.
Hell could be quiet, man.
Hell could be quiet, but apparently there's bear screaming in hell.
I don't know, man.
There's no screaming at the Emirates. Anyway, we're back to wrap up. Go on, wrap us up.
Well, on that note,
Alright, well, it's still AFC Wimbledon 3, West Ham United 2.
We're gonna finish the game.
I don't really care, to be honest. I don't support neither team.
Oh.
Well, I just want AFC Wimbledon to go through, so
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
they get
of
a
course,
big trophy. Well, that's it. Episode 2 is wrapped up. Hope
Thanks
you guys
for watching, guys.
enjoyed it.
just talking over him.
It's been great. We spoke about some deep stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah. Do that. Make sure you actually subscribe though, because it doesn't take long. Just scroll down, subscribe, support us.
So what?
Come on.
Like the video. Tell them to like it.
Smash the like button.
Smash it. It doesn't actually take long to do
Christ,
it.
no, I know.
It's not very long, man.
I know.
Just go down and like it. Like the video. Subscribe, support us. It's going to be good. We're going to go far. Last video got 1 million views.
A million.
So this better get 2 million, innit?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. 2 million views. But that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you guys. Are we recording next week?
Yeah.
Probably. If we're not, if not, then we'll be back at some point.
Chinese New Year. See you there.
Year of the pig.
Yeah.